There are days when life feels heavy, when your mind is loud, and your heart feels like a storm that refuses to calm. This Monday, 13 October, is not just another day on the calendar. It is a quiet opportunity to look within, to meet the storm instead of running from it. Inside every person, there is a part that trembles when life shakes too hard, a part that hides when pain knocks at the door. But this Monday is not asking you to hide anymore. It is asking you to open your eyes to what you carry, to see clearly what has been buried beneath the noise. The storm inside you is not your enemy. It is a mirror showing you the truth you've been avoiding. Every worry, every regret, every fear that keeps spinning in your chest is only energy that has forgotten where to go. The healing begins not by fighting it, but by standing still long enough to understand it. This Monday, 13th October, is about stillness that speaks louder than all the chaos. It is about silence that doesn't feel empty, but alive with the chance to begin again. When you stop resisting the storm, you start hearing what it is trying to say. The thoughts that keep repeating themselves, the emotions that rise without warning, the tension in your body, all of it is communication from within. The more you push it away, the louder it becomes. The more you pause and listen, the softer it grows. Healing begins in that pause. That is the moment where awareness enters, and awareness changes everything. This Monday, and the world will move as it always does. People will rush, hours will pass, and life will seem ordinary. But within you, there can be a different rhythm, a slower, deeper rhythm that allows the storm to pass without taking you down with it. You do not need to control what you feel. You only need to witness it, to let it exist without adding resistance. When you allow yourself to simply observe, your emotions lose their sharpness. They stop ruling you and start teaching you. The storm was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to clean you. It removes what no longer serves you, what has been sitting too long inside your chest. The pain that once felt unbearable begins to loosen its grip when you understand that it was never permanent. Every emotion, every thought, every wave of fear has its season, and every storm eventually fades when you stop feeding it with your attention. This Monday, 13th October, is your reminder that calm does not come from the outside. It is born when you stop running and start breathing. Take a moment on this day, not to analyze, not to fix, but to simply breathe. Each inhale brings you closer to yourself. Each exhale releases what doesn't belong anymore. The healing is already happening in that breath. The storm cannot survive when you bring light into it, and awareness is that light. You do not need to wait for peace. You are capable of creating it right where you stand. There is strength in softness, and that is what this Monday teaches. You do not have to be hard to survive. You do not need to suppress what hurts. True strength is in the courage to face what is real, to let tears fall, if they need to admit that you have been tired. When you stop pretending that everything is fine, the healing begins. When you stop fighting with what you feel, the energy inside you begins to move freely again. That flow is your peace returning. Every storm, no matter how dark, eventually reveals the sky again. This Monday, 13th October, carries that message quietly. It whispers that the storm inside you is temporary, that every drop of rain washing through your mind is preparing you for a clearer tomorrow. You are not broken, you are becoming. The heaviness you feel is only the weight of transformation. When you allow yourself to feel it without judgment, you grow lighter, freer, stronger. Let this Monday be your turning point, the day you stop escaping your emotions and start learning from them. Let it be the day you choose clarity over confusion, awareness over reaction, karma over chaos. Healing is not dramatic, it is gentle, slow, and honest. It begins in the moment you say, I am ready to face what is inside me. And once you do, the storm begins to lose its power. This is the quiet power of self-growth. It does not shout, it does not rush, it unfolds. This Monday, 13th October, gives you that space to unfold. to recognize the storm not as punishment, but as preparation. The pain you felt was carving space for peace. The confusion was pushing you to look deeper. And the stillness that follows is your true self returning, calm and unshaken. So breathe deeply on this Monday. Stand tall in the wind. Let the storm do what it must and trust that it is working there for you, not against you. Healing doesn't mean the storm disappears instantly. It means it no longer controls your direction. You begin to walk through it with awareness, grounded, alive. And when you step out on the other side, you will realize that this Monday, 13th October, wasn't just another date. It was the day you learned to heal yourself by finally understanding the storm within. This Monday, 13th October, is not about rushing, not about chasing, not about adding more to your already full mind. It is about stillness, the kind of stillness that you have forgotten, the kind that doesn't mean doing nothing, but being everything, completely awake, completely aware. When you stop running after what's next and finally stand still, life starts to speak. The noise that used to control you begins to fade, and what remains is truth, quiet, powerful, and clear. On this Monday, the world will demand movement. It will tell you to hurry, to plan, to fix, to prove. But healing comes when you choose not to follow that noise. When you decide to stop and simply observe, you take back your power. Awareness is the doorway through which peace enters. The mind that keeps jumping between past and future cannot feel peace, but the mind that is aware of itself, that mind is unshakable. This Monday, 13 October, invites you to sit with yourself in silence. It may feel strange at first, almost uncomfortable. The moment you close your eyes, thoughts rush in like waves. Unfinished stories, worries, regrets. But don't fight them. Don't push them away. Awareness means seeing what is there without trying to change it. Just observe. Just breathe. You will start to see that your thoughts are not who you are. They are clouds moving across the vast sky of your awareness. The sky never fights the clouds. It simply allows them to pass. That is what this Monday teaches, to allow. When you practice awareness, you realize how much of your energy was lost in reaction. Every word, every event, every person that disturbed your peace did so because you gave them control. Awareness returns that control to you. It gives you the power to pause between what happens and how you respond. That pause is freedom. That pause is peace. And this Monday, 13 October, can become the day you discover that freedom inside you. Stillness does not mean weakness. It means mastery. It means you no longer get pulled by every emotion or thought that enters your mind. You learn to observe anger without becoming it, to feel sadness without drowning in it, to face fear without running away. When you are aware, you stand like a mountain, calm, steady, untouched by the storm that rages around you. The wind can blow, the rain can fall, but you remain grounded. That is the power of awareness. On this Monday, when everything feels urgent, slow down. Even for a few moments, close your eyes and listen, not to the world, but to yourself. Hear the rhythm of your breath. Feel the weight of your body. Notice how life moves through you without effort. The heart beats, the lungs expand. The air flows in and out, all without your control. Awareness begins here in this simple realization that you are alive, and that is enough. When you live with awareness, your relationship with pain changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin to see, what is this teaching me? Awareness turns pain into wisdom, confusion into clarity, reaction into response. It doesn't remove the storm. It allows you to walk through it without losing yourself. That is why this Monday, 13 October, holds so much power. It's not just a day, it's a reminder to return to what you have always been: aware, present, alive. The more aware you become, the less power your thoughts have over you. You realize that your mind is a tool, not a master. When you observe it, you begin to choose your thoughts instead of being dragged by them. You choose peace over chaos, focus over distraction, silence over noise. That is how awareness heals. It doesn't come from effort, but from surrender. from allowing yourself to simply be here now. Awareness also shows you how much beauty exists in simple moments. The sound of rain, the warmth of sunlight, the quiet rhythm of your breath all become alive when you are truly present. You no longer live in memories or worries, you live in the now. And this Monday, 13th October, is your chance to return to the now, to start living instead of merely existing. The world outside is always moving, changing, pulling you in different directions. But awareness reminds you that peace is not somewhere out there, it is inside. The calm you search for will never come from the world. It will only come from within your stillness. So when this Monday begins, make a choice. Choose awareness over anxiety, stillness over struggle. Sit quietly, breathe, and let life unfold on its own. In that silence, something beautiful happens. The noise fades and your true self starts to shine through. You realize that awareness is not something to achieve. It is something you already are. You were just too distracted to notice. Every Monday could pass without meaning, but this one, this 13th October, can become sacred if you use it to remember yourself. Awareness is not about perfection. It's about presence. You don't need to fix your thoughts. You only need to see them clearly. The more clearly you see, the less you suffer. When awareness grows, confusion fades. You stop searching for answers and begin to live as the answer itself. This Monday, 13th October, can be your quiet revolution. The day you stop being lost in your thoughts and start living in awareness. The day you realize that stillness is not the absence of movement, but the presence of understanding. When you are aware, life stops being a struggle. Every breath becomes a reminder that you are here, that you are enough, and that peace was never missing. It was waiting for your attention. So let this Monday be different. Let it be calm. Let it be quiet. Let it be the beginning of awareness that will carry you far beyond this day. Because once you learn to be still, once you learn to be aware, the storm inside you will have nothing left to hold on to. And in that silence, you will finally find yourself. This Monday, 13th October, carries a quiet power. It is not a day of escape, but a day of transformation. The pain you carry, the struggles that weigh on your chest, the memories that echo in silence. They are not your enemies. They are the raw material of your growth. What you have called pain is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to shape you. Every wound, every disappointment, every fall has been preparing you for strength you have not yet seen. This Monday is your moment to stop running from pain and start transforming it into power. Life doesn't ask you to avoid suffering. It asks you to understand it, to see that the pain you resist becomes heavier, but the pain you face becomes your teacher. The storms inside you are not punishment. They are purification. They burn away the layers that no longer belong to you, the fears that kept you small, the doubts that silenced your truth. On this Monday, 13th of October, look at your pain directly, without fear, without stories. Just face it. Because the moment you stop fighting it, it begins to change. Growth never happens in comfort. You grow when you are stretched, when you are tested, when everything inside you wants to give up, yet you continue. Pain pushes you toward awareness. It breaks the walls around your heart so that light can finally enter. Every struggle you have faced has carved space inside you, space for strength, for wisdom, for depth. This Monday is a reminder that pain is not a signal to stop, it is a sign to awaken. You may have believed that peace means the absence of pain, but true peace is found when you can sit with pain and still remain calm. When you can see chaos and still breathe steadily, when you can be in darkness and still trust the light will come. That kind of peace is unshakable, and it begins when you no longer fear transformation. This Monday, 13 October, gives you the chance to let pain become your path instead of your prison. The truth is simple. You cannot avoid what life gives you, but you can choose how you receive it. You can choose to resist and suffer, or you can choose to learn and grow. The pain of resistance is endless. The pain of growth is temporary. One breaks you down, the other builds you up. When you change your perspective, even the hardest moments become lessons, and every scar becomes proof that you healed. This Monday, 13th October, is not asking you to pretend that pain feels good. It's asking you to see its purpose. When something hurts, it's because something inside you is being redefined. The old version of you, the one built on fear, self-doubt, and insecurity, is falling apart. It must fall so the new you can rise. That breaking is sacred. It's not the end of you, it's the beginning. Pain is simply the language of transformation, and once you learn to listen, you realize it has always been guiding you home. The moments when life pushed you to the edge were not signs of weakness. They were invitations to discover strength you didn't know existed. Growth is not gentle. It demands that you let go of who you were so you can become who you are meant to be. Every time you faced loss, heartbreak, or failure, something inside you was learning: patience, humility, endurance, self-trust. This Monday, 13th October, is your moment to honor those lessons. Stop seeing pain as an interruption and start seeing it as initiation. Transformation happens quietly, often without recognition. No one sees the moment your mind decides to think differently, or the moment your heart finally lets go of what once hurt. But inside, everything changes. You begin to rise differently, walk differently, breathe differently. That invisible growth is the most powerful kind. It doesn't shout, it simply becomes. That is what this Monday represents: the calm, invisible moment when your pain turns into wisdom. Do not waste your energy wishing for an easier life. Wish for the strength to face the one you have. Because when you face it fully, life begins to open for you. What once looked like loss becomes redirection. What once felt like breaking becomes awakening. What once felt like an ending becomes a doorway. This Monday, 13th October, let your pain show you that you are not fragile, you are transforming. The process may not be beautiful, but it is honest. Growth doesn't need to look graceful. It only needs to be real. The truth is that every time you have fallen, you have risen stronger. Every time you thought you couldn't continue, you did. That is transformation. That is power. And now, as this Monday arrives, that power has to be seen. There is no growth without friction. The flower breaks the seed before it blooms. The caterpillar dissolves before it becomes a butterfly. The human heart must break open to discover compassion. You are no different. The pain that once frightened you can become the very source of your peace if you allow it to. This Monday, 13 October, is your reminder that nothing you have felt is wasted. Every moment of discomfort was shaping the person you are becoming. Let this day be a silent turning point. Instead of wishing for the storm to end, stand in it. Feel its weight, its power, its truth, and then rise from it with understanding. Pain is not there to punish. It is there to polish. It makes you clear, strong, awake. This is not about enduring endlessly. It's about awakening fully. So on this Monday, 13th October, stop hiding your wounds. Let them breathe. Let them become symbols of survival and transformation. The storm inside you was never meant to break you. It was meant to reveal you. Every ache is a step toward your awakening. Every scar is a mark of strength. And when the day ends and silence fills the air, you will realize something powerful. The pain didn't end you. It shaped you. It grew you. It turned you into the person you were always meant to become. This Monday, 13th of October, is not about grand promises or sudden changes. It is about quiet, steady discipline, the kind that doesn't look impressive from the outside, but transforms everything from within. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion to your own growth. It is the daily act of showing up, even when no one sees you, even when you feel tired, even when your heart is unsure. This Monday invites you to understand that healing and strength are not born from inspiration alone, but from consistency, from the choice to rise and practice peace again and again. Every person wants transformation, but few are willing to build it through discipline. It is not about perfection, it is about repetition. the small actions you repeat every day shape the life you live. When you breathe with awareness, when you move with purpose, when you act with intention, those moments become the roots of stability inside you. This Monday, 13 October, is not asking you to do more. It's asking you to do what matters and to do it with full presence. Discipline is how chaos becomes calm. It is how the storm inside you begins to settle. When your mind wants to rush or resist, discipline anchors you. It reminds you to return to your breath, to your practice, to your center. Every time you choose stillness over reaction, you strengthen that inner foundation. The power of daily discipline is invisible at first, but over time, it changes the structure of who you are. This Monday is the perfect beginning. You don't need to wait for motivation. Motivation fades. Discipline remains. It is a quiet agreement between you and your higher self, a promise to keep walking the path. No matter how the world moves, you will not always feel ready, but you must still begin. You will not always feel strong, but you must still continue. That is how you build peace that lasts. When you practice discipline, your energy begins to shift. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. You no longer move based on moods or emotions. You move based on purpose. Your breath becomes your teacher. Your focus becomes your weapon. And your calm becomes your strength. On this Monday, 13th October, choose to move through your day with awareness. Every step, every action, every word, do it deliberately. The truth is that healing is not a one-time event. It is a daily process. Every morning you wake up, you have a choice to fall back into old patterns or to rise with discipline. The world outside will always test you, but discipline builds the power to stay balanced. It's what keeps you standing when everything tries to pull you down. When you practice daily awareness, even in small moments, you build an unshakable peace that no chaos can take away. This Monday, 13 October, let your discipline become your meditation, not just in silence, but in everything you do. When you walk, walk with awareness. When you eat with attention. When you speak with intention. Discipline means to live consciously, not automatically. Every act becomes a reflection of who you are becoming. Every repetition becomes a stone in the foundation of your growth. The power of discipline is that it transforms time into transformation. Every day you practice, even a little, builds momentum. You begin to notice subtle changes. Your reactions become softer. Your focus becomes sharper. Your energy becomes calmer. The same mind that once scattered in every direction begins to gather strength. The same heart that once felt heavy begins to find rhythm again. That is the quiet miracle of discipline. It doesn't shout, it whispers, and it builds something unbreakable inside you. When this Monday begins, don't wait for the perfect moment to start. Begin where you are with what you have. Sit for a few minutes in stillness. Breathe. Focus on your breath until it becomes your anchor. Let every inhale remind you that you are here, and every exhale release what no longer serves you. Discipline begins in this simple act of returning to the present moment. And once you learn to return, you learn to master yourself. You may not see the results today or even tomorrow, but one day you will look back and see that every disciplined moment created your strength. Every time you chose awareness instead of distraction, you built a new version of yourself. That is how growth happens, not through big leaps, but through steady steps. This Monday, 13th October, is one of those steps. Take it with purpose. The world will continue to move fast, to pull you in 100 directions, to tempt you into forgetting yourself. But discipline is your return. It is how you protect your peace. It is how you turn ordinary moments into sacred practice. Discipline gives shape to your intentions and turns thoughts into reality. Without it, even wisdom fades. With it, even silence becomes power. So let this Monday be the day you stop waiting for change and start creating it through daily action. Be patient, be steady, be consistent. Discipline is not about control, it is about alignment. It brings your mind, body, and spirit into harmony. It reminds you that real growth is built one mindful moment at a time. Every sunrise gives you another chance to practice. Every breath gives you another opportunity to begin again. That is what this Monday, 13 October, stands for: renewal through repetition, strength through steadiness, freedom through focus. The storm inside you cannot stay when you are rooted in discipline. It will pass, it will dissolve, and you will stand unshaken, calm, and alive. This Monday is not just another day, it is your invitation to commit to yourself, to rise again, to choose peace again, to practice again. And in that steady rhythm of discipline, you will discover the quiet truth that healing is not something you wait for. It is something you build every day, every breath, every moment. This Monday, 13 October, carries a quiet lesson about balance, the balance between action and acceptance. Life is always moving, and so are you. But when you move without awareness, you lose direction. When you act without stillness, your energy scatters. And when you try to control what cannot be controlled, you lose your peace. This Monday is not about doing more or stopping everything. It is about learning when to move and when to be still. It is about finding harmony between what you can change and what you must simply allow. There are moments when you must act with strength, make choices, take steps, and move forward. But there are also moments when life asks you to let go, to surrender, to trust the flow instead of forcing it. Most people know only one side. Either they are always pushing or always waiting. True peace comes when you can hold both the fire of effort and the calm of acceptance. This Monday, 13th October, invites you to walk that fine line, to understand that strength is not in control but in balance. Action without acceptance leads to exhaustion. You keep chasing, fixing, proving, and fighting, thinking that peace will come when everything is perfect. But peace never lives in perfection, it lives in alignment. On the other hand, acceptance without action becomes stagnation. You begin to call comfort peace, but inside you know that you are avoiding your own potential. Balance is knowing when to step forward and when to stand still. This Monday, 13th October, is your reminder to listen deeply, to feel when life is calling you to move and when it's asking you to simply trust. When you find balance, your life stops being a struggle. You begin to flow instead of force. You stop reacting to everything that happens and start responding with clarity. Balance is not about being neutral, it's about being aware. It's about moving when movement is needed and resting when stillness is sacred. You do not need to fight the rhythm of life. You only need to move in harmony with it. This is the teaching of this Monday, to let your heart lead with awareness, not resistance. There will be days when your mind tells you to rush, to fix everything immediately. But sometimes doing nothing is the most powerful action, because stillness is not weakness, it is understanding. It is the space where wisdom grows. This Monday, 13 October, ask yourself not how much you can do, but how deeply you can be. Can you sit with yourself without needing to escape? Can you trust the silence long enough to hear what it is trying to tell you? Balance also means knowing that not everything requires your control. Life is not meant to be managed, it is meant to be experienced. Some things will unfold only when you stop interfering. When you let go of the need to control outcomes, you create space for life to surprise you. This Monday reminds you that acceptance is not giving up, it is giving in to the natural flow of things. It is saying, I trust this moment even if I don't fully understand it yet. Action comes from the mind, acceptance comes from the heart. The two are not enemies, they are partners. When your actions rise from a place of acceptance, they carry power, clarity, and peace. When you act without acceptance, even your progress feels heavy. This Monday, 13th October, is about bringing the two together, to act with purpose but without attachment, to give your best and then release what is beyond your control. That is where freedom begins. Many people spend their lives chasing balance in the outside world, balancing work and rest, success and failure. gain and loss, but the real balance is within. When you are balanced inside, the world outside can change 1,000 times, yet you remain steady. You no longer move out of fear or pride, you move out of awareness. You no longer react to pressure, you respond from peace. That is the power this Monday carries, the invitation to stand in stillness and move with wisdom at the same time. This balance can only be found to practice. Each time you act, ask yourself, am I forcing or flowing? Each time you wait, ask yourself, am I avoiding or trusting? The answers will guide you. Life is not about constant effort or constant surrender. It is about learning the dance between the two. When you find that rhythm, life becomes effortless. You begin to see that every event, every challenge, every silence is part of the same movement. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is random. Everything is guiding you toward balance. On this Monday, 13 October, you may feel the urge to fix everything at once. You may feel that silence means failure or that stillness means you're falling behind. But neither is true. Silence can be progress. Stillness can be healing. Doing less can sometimes move you further than doing more. This is the wisdom that balance reveals. That peace is not found in intensity, but in harmony. To balance action and acceptance is to live consciously. It is to know that sometimes life requires effort and sometimes it requires trust. When you understand this, you stop fighting with reality. You stop trying to bend life to your will. Instead, you begin to walk with it, aware, calm, and present. This Monday, 13th October, may seem ordinary from the outside, but it holds a powerful truth. It asks you to slow down, to observe your rhythm, to align with life instead of battling it. When you act, do it fully. When you rest, rest completely. When you move, move with awareness. When you wait, wait with peace. Balance is not something to find. It is something to remember. And when you remember it, the storm inside you begins to calm. The constant pull between doing and being begins to dissolve. You move through life with grace, strength, and ease. This Monday, 13th October, is your reminder that real power lies not in extremes but in equilibrium. To be balanced is to be free. To be balanced is to be whole. And when you live in that wholeness, every action becomes peaceful and every moment becomes enough.